Just that to let you know that. So recording is in progress now. Thank you for joining Mind the Mind 15. That tells me that it's been a journey from Mind the Mind 1, and every quarter we've been able to bring you great episodes of Minding the Mind, real talk about how we navigate this world. That's just the whole aim of this program, of this conference, of this hangout in a nutshell. So even though one or two times we've been like off tangent, maybe doing it as recorded or not live like this, we've had a few hangouts physically, before now. But right now, this is the best thing that you have logged on to this morning. And I want to welcome you specially for being on this program. It's Mind the Mind series, and it's the 15th episode where we talk about real life issues, where we, share our thoughts, share our feelings. We're able to express ourselves. It's a safe place. And whatever we discuss here is confidential. So it's a safe place that we log on to, every quarter to make sure that our minds are well-minded in everything that has to do with, our mental health. Yes. So you're welcome again. And I thank you very much for joining. It's been an awesome time. And I promise that everything we're going to be doing here today, it would have a way of penetrating your mind, your soul, and it will give you that that overall holistic effect to help you mind your mental health, mind your physical health, mind every part of your life. So thank you again and welcome, 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 welcome. We'll be starting off, quickly, but before we go into the session proper, we're going to be going into icebreaker like we do every time. The icebreaker for today will be for you to look around you, wherever you are, in your car, in your home, everywhere you are. We're going to be doing a check-in session. So this check-in timeout is for you to look around you, connect with one particular object you can see. If it's a color, if it's something that you can see, let us know how it connects with your emotions. Maybe you can see, for example, where I am right now, I have a yellow object here with me. It connects with my mood right now. And in my mood, I'm able to say that, okay, this morning I'm bright and I'm happy. It's just as simple as that. Don't overthink it. Check in with anything around you. You can let us know in the chat room, and then let us be able to see what you connect with. Some people have connected with, in time past when we had check-in sessions, some may have connected with probably their Christmas tree and how bubbly it looks. And so it's showing how happy and how excited and how grateful they are, for God having brought us this far from the beginning of the year till this very moment. So just check in with something and let us know in the chat room. Let us know in the chat room what you're checking in with. So I've said mine. If you're just joining, welcome. Thank you, Pastor D. Thank you, Pastor Laide. Thank you, Dr. Nwandu. Thank you, Mrs. Olowu. I appreciate. Thank you, Mr. Paul. I appreciate that you have joined, from far and near. Thank you so much for joining. So just check in with anything around you. If you know that you're tired, yes, you may be checking in with your duvet or checking in with maybe your bed. You can see that, oh, I'm on my bed right now, or right this morning, I'm just, under the duvet or under the pillow cover, or you're checking in with something. We just want you to be able to connect your emotion, to something. So someone says, just around my family and feeling relaxed. Great. Thank you for checking in. Thank you for checking in with that awesome one. Christmas tree with a variety of beautiful ornaments. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for checking in with that. So we go into our icebreaker in the next we go into our session proper in the next 1 minute. And having checked in I want us to think back, even with the way that you're feeling right now. You're feeling relaxed, you're feeling happy. It's okay if you're not feeling so happy, and it's okay if you're feeling really overwhelmed. We're here in this safe place. We say that what you feel is real, what you feel is validated. So it's okay to feel however you feel. It's okay to feel not okay. So even if you feel like you're not okay, it's okay to feel like that. So, and here we will not judge you. And we just want to let you know that whatever it is that you're feeling like right now is just for this, bit of time. It will soon pass. It was not there. It's not been there, forever, and it's not going to remain there. It's not been there since, ages past, or it's not been there like sitting there in your heart or with your being from time immemorial, and it will soon, be something of the past. So what we need you to do right now is to start being grateful, from everything that you want to do. Thank you so much, darling. I appreciate. So what you need to do, is to be grateful for all the things that you have checked in with. Even if you've not dropped your check-in items, your check-in activities in the chat room, there's something within your heart that you're checking in with. It may be you're checking in with something that you may have received from God and God has answered. And you're here as a testament to that fact. You're checking in with that state of gratitude. And that's okay, to be grateful. Just make sure that you're thinking about something you're grateful for. Even if you've lived with whatever challenge, for ages, just know that it's only a matter of time. It will pass, and it's all part of the process. It's all part of the process. Here on the emotional wellness, tribe, we say that everything you go through in life, it's part of the whole big picture. It's like you watching a movie, going to a cinema and watching a movie. No one pays, to watch a movie that just says, oh, and the child grew and the child, was successful, the end. No, people pay, for that kind of film, for that kind of cinema effect that has perks, tunnels, so many drama, attached to it. That's what you go to pay for. So see yourself or your life as a movie right now. And you may just be in the first season. You may be in the first season or second season, or maybe in the mid season, of whatever it is that God is, playing out from your life. And you are the main character. At least the thing is that we know for a fact that in most movies, actors in it don't die. And even if anything tragic happens, there's a beautiful story that comes around. So yours is not a tragic ending story. I can promise you, and I assure you that by the mercies of God, yours will turn out well. You're not going to be part of the sad statistics. This year has come this far, and God has brought every one of us this far, and we are grateful for that. So I'm checking in again with the fact that this Mind the Mind episode, is my gratitude point. And I'm checking in with the fact that everyone here and everyone that would see this video much later, is alive and well and living to watch it. And it will help, us to mind our minds in the end. So we're going to start sharing the screen now, so that we can go into the session properly. Please find somewhere comfortable, find somewhere, you can chill, maybe with a glass of, water, as I just got, mine in. Thank you so much for that again. And so we're going to be, going straight on. If you've got any questions at all, through the course of the session, please feel free to send it in the chat room, and then we'll get it rolling. If you can see my screen, please do let me know. Okay? If you can see my screen, a thumbs up, a thumbs up, a thumbs up will do. Okay? I'm waiting for that confirmation. Can we see my screen? Yes. Okay. Let me know if you can. Just a moment. Just a moment, please. Okay, right now, the screen thing is acting funny and I'm unable to. Okay, just a moment, just a moment. Just shout out if you can see my screen, and then I will know that you can see it. Okay. Okay, I can see in the chat. I can see it now. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So let's go. So what this concept about minding the mind, came from, especially this particular episode, minding loneliness. It came from a deep place of perception in my spirit that this is what we should do at this time. I've got a few confirmations over time. And when it came, as a confirmation, from when God used that vessel to mention it. And I was, so I started thinking about everything that we had to do, about what to put in this slide. And so I'm very sure that whatever it is that you find on this slide will come to you, as a reminder of what you're feeling, of what you've felt, of what you may even have to share with others after now. So I'm persuaded, that this is not just, another edition where you're just getting the information, maybe from online or anything. It's something in there for you. You may need to just, pick yours and then make sure that you tailor it, because it's not just about what we hear, it's about what we do with what we hear. So mind the mind, minding loneliness. We need to understand loneliness and give it a closer look. Loneliness, according to May Saturn, says loneliness is the poverty of self. The poverty of self. Solitude is the richness of self. What does that mean? It means that loneliness itself is the fact that you feel like there's more to what you're gaining, what you should be right now. You just feel like you feel like there's something in your heart that wants to connect to something else. Maybe there's something missing. That's where the word poverty is coming from. You're poor about certain things. You're lacking certain things in yourself. And then you just feel like if only you could connect. It's just like you're like a wire cable. You're waiting for that socket on the wall to fit into. That's what loneliness, in plain terms means. So that feeling of you feel like there's more, to just being alone. So loneliness cannot be equated to being alone, because being alone itself is that word solitude. At times you may be alone, but in that solitude period that you're alone, you're rich in yourself. You're just being conscious of the fact that you're grateful for your space. You're grateful for the time that you have. You're grateful and you can connect deeply to the richness of your breath. Most times we don't pay attention to how we breathe. And that's why, most of us don't appreciate our alone times. Just paying attention to how your breath rises and falls will let you understand the richness in the rhythm. When you are in that place of solitude, and I'm talking about solitude, meaning when you are alone now, no distractions. It means that you're reaching yourself. At that time, you don't even want your phone to ring. For some of us, you don't even want any distraction, no children's sound, no, any human around, just you connecting with your source, connecting with God, connecting with your spirit, connecting with, and if you take it a notch higher, you're connecting with that rich flow of the rhythm of your breath. And that's what solitude means. According to May, it says that is the richness of self. You have understood where your self-worth. You're coming from a place where you understand that your time is valuable. You don't just waste your time away on social media. You don't waste your time away, watching something that is not productive. You don't waste your time away reading materials that are not productive or that will not add to your richness. You may even just want to laze around or just lay on your bed or maybe be in a very nice and comfortable environment and just be by yourself. That's solitude. Is really, really different. There's that thin line between solitude and loneliness. But we're coming from that place. So we wanted to, let us understand and take a closer look at that word loneliness. It means loneliness is not solitude. We mentioned that. Loneliness is exploring the impacts of how how much of the things that you're missing, the things that are missing in your life at that time. It's being able to explore it in connection to how you're feeling, in connection to your mental health. Because of the busy world that we have around, there is that dearth, there's that scarcity of social interaction. And so it brings about loneliness. People may be in a very busy place and still feel lonely. If you've felt that at any point in time, feel free to drop it in the chat room that, yes, I've been there. You may be in a busy place you may even be in a party and still feel lonely. That's the one that we're addressing today. It is that feeling that there's still something that you need to do. You just feel like everyone, is busy, but you are just there and you're lonely. So I needed us to understand that same difference between loneliness and solitude. And that's where we're coming from this morning. We're coming from that angle to say that loneliness is the perceived level of social connection you have minus the level of social disconnection. That means that in your heart, you perceive that, oh, you have this much social connection. You belong to probably a church group. You belong to one, society or the other. You belong to a family. But there's this minus element of that disconnection that you still feel, even if you're so connected to your social circle, but you still feel that disconnection that only you can explain. That's the loneliness we're talking about. We're looking quickly into statistics about loneliness in the modern world. From the WHO perspective, it says that, there's going to be, loneliness has been like a pressing global health threat, with, so many people talking about, so many studies, so many people, at this forefront, you have a US surgeon, talking about, he linked loneliness to that feeling that it has effects to, when people smoke about 15 cigarettes in a day, and that loneliness has that effect of damaging their lungs up to about when you smoke 15 cigarettes in a day. It means that loneliness itself is toxic. It's as toxic as smoking 15 cigarettes in a day. For people who smoke, they will understand that bit. Excuse me. And so when they say that loneliness is that toxic, we should know for a fact that is not something we should tolerate for long in our hearts. Everywhere you go, everywhere you find yourself, just know that when you have that feeling of loneliness, it's something that you should take care of, without letting it to sink into your soul. 80% of people under the age of 18 are lonely, according to statistics, and we can go on and on and on. Even people that are within maybe the millennials or the Gen X and all this, other fine statistics that you can see on the screen. It just says that so many people all over the world, whether in the middle age, whether in their old ages, may tend to be lonely. And we don't just put the statistics there, for putting sake. It's just to let us know that even everyone agrees that you may feel lonely at every point in time. So why would we shy away from something that is becoming like a global threat? It's not the pandemic now, like it's not COVID, but it's there and it's subtle and it's eating deep if we do not take care of it. The next slide talks about how this emotional toll of loneliness, how we can, begin to spiral into signs and symptoms. You can start to feel sad. You can start to feel social withdrawal on just one hand. you can feel that you don't have up to about 5 friends. You can feel that even if you have about 10 friends, you have withdrawn gradually from almost all your friends and your social circle. It may also result in low self-esteem. It may result in physical symptoms, even for physical health issues. It may result in reliance on technology. You dwell so much on the media, on technology to be able to do stuff. And then the person may find, themselves, talking negatively most of the time. Those are, some of the emotional toll that loneliness may have taken, on everyone if they are not, looking deeply at it. So, and you may see that there's that link between the fact that all these feelings will draw out time. It will draw out energy for socializing. You're just like, I just want to be alone. I'm not talking about the feeling of solitude now. That feeling of solitude when you just go maybe for a retreat by yourself and then you just want to refuel, when you feel zapped and when you feel maybe because you have exerted so much energy, you've been spent. If I put it that way, you have spent and you're being spent, and then you go into solitude to refuel. That's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about that one that makes you feel all the negative symptoms and some more. And all these effects, it will start to affect your thinking. It may start to affect your mental health, and it will take a toll on what we call medically unexplained symptoms. Some people begin to say, oh, they feel this pain here. And then when they go to the doctors to check, the doctors are saying there's nothing there, but you alone can feel it. We know without a shadow of doubt, in the spiritual world that, the spiritual controls the physical. At that time, what do you do with it? We're getting there, in a very short time so that we don't get ahead of ourselves. Some cost of loneliness. And so that loneliness is very expensive. You don't want to spend the currency of loneliness, because it costs you, it costs some people, even according to statistics, it can cost some people so many, comorbidities, so many health risks that can lead even to their premature demise. It has impacts. I've talked about the fact that it's as toxic, as taking in smoking stuff, smoking illegal stuff, smoking, anything that has to do with smoking. It can bring that level of toxicity even into your system. And you find out that that cost of loneliness, it does not only end with that person, it also has a way of affecting their family. It has a way of affecting your family, affecting your loved ones around you. And then people around you just know that you are just like an emotional vampire. You are just there, sucking out and draining, the strength of other people. You're like a parasite, without even knowing. And then people begin to withdraw from you because every time they're around you, is either you're feeling, even though you're not saying anything, they know that something has left them. Because by the time they are leaving your presence, they are leaving your own presence more poorer in spirit than how than how they came. And that's what you need to take note of, because you do not want it to get to this next slide. The dangers that are in loneliness. It can include depression. I'm not saying these are all, but we know some of them. There are some that are even peculiar to us. You know what it costs you as a human being when you get to that level of loneliness. You may be with your spouse. You may even have a loving home or loving marital, marital relationship. You may have, very good children. You may have very good family. You may have a very good job. But you still find that loneliness can lead the best of humans, so to speak, because the best of humans is still a human. The best of a man is still a man, and no one can do or sort out these life issues, alone, without connecting deeply to their spirituality, so that it doesn't lead to depression. It doesn't lead to you feeling poor in spirit. Depression is a word that people throw around, loosely these days, because that's not the subject of today. We're not going to go so deep into it, but it's not just about you feel sad for 1 minute and that's it. That's not depression. Depression is that long period of sudden, when you have felt that low for a long time, if you do not get out of it, it's going to add so much more. It's going to contribute so much more to the detriment. It will have detrimental effects on your health as a whole. It can lead to anxiety, panic attacks. It can lead to you to worry. Some people are WWW, not like the World Wide Web now. They're world wild warriors. They can worry for the world. They can worry for the world. Remember, when you worry, worry is like it's like having negative faith, because it takes so much in you to have faith that something good will happen to you, to have faith in the word of God, for instance. And then it takes so much in you as well to still worry. Why would you now expend the energy that you're supposed to use for something positive to tackling your God-given purposes, and then you now invest it into worry? When it gets to that point, when you're anxious, you're worrying, you have palpitations that only you can explain, then you may need to take note of that. That's a very, very big red flag. And then loneliness has been linked to a range of physical health problems, including high blood pressure or cardiovascular diseases that has to do with your heart or every part of your being. Some, like I said earlier, are even medically unexplained. Even medical practitioners cannot explain it, but they know that you're saying you feel something. They know you can feel it, but they cannot explain it. And it's a feeling that only God, can help take away. If you are spiritually inclined, you know that this is beyond, just what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling at this point. And then it can lead to decline. From the research that we have seen other researches that suggest that loneliness is associated with a higher risk of cognitive decline and dementia. And so you see so many people, in nursing homes today, you see so many people, all around the world today. Not like we're saying that everyone that has had cognitive decline has suffered loneliness. No, we're saying that it can contribute. It is associated, it has a higher risk of making people not to have good cognitive functions when the senses are not working, when so many things are not coordinated. You're with your system or you're with your book. You want to write that next book. You want to do what you need to do. But your nerves are all over the place. Your nerves are all over the place. I give you a quick example, of how, so many things can happen, to you that you may not even know if you do not have the right tools, to arrest them. I had an exam, at some point in time, I think it was early this year, or yeah, it was early this year. And even with the tension of the exam, I forgot to click submit. Even though the instruction says that the system, even if you don't submit, when the system times you out, is going to automatically submit for you. So I just trusted that, okay, even I still have 5 more minutes. Let me not submit yet. After all, the system will automatically, submit when I don't submit. And I did not click submit. Not because I literally forgot like that, but I normally should have just submitted. But I waited like, oh, let me finish the last minute. And then guess what? By the time the results were out, those particular ones that I did towards the tail end showed that they were unanswered. Not because you didn't know what to do. I'm just saying that at times when we don't arrest that anxiety, we don't arrest those nerves, the cost of it, may now be more than normal. So yesterday I had another exam. And this time I've learned my lesson. I'd finished that exam way like 20 minutes into the exam. I stayed there and I kept on playing with my mouse and system. I stayed there. I kept on checking and rechecking, checking and rechecking, checking and rechecking. When it was about 40 minutes, I knew that, oh, I spent this extra 20 minutes rechecking and rechecking. and I just had to click submit. But before that exam, I still had those nerves. And yes, you may wonder, oh, so coach, you also have nerves. Yes, because everyone is also human. And every coach also needs a coach. So I remember the tools that I had in my arsenal. And I could say, okay, what are the tools that will help me calm these nerves? So that I don't now take some things over the board. I just quickly picked up some tools that I had, and then I started, applying them. And then by the time my nerves were calm, I was able to say, okay, this is it, and let's face it. That was even before the start of the exam. And I was able to deploy those tools, and it calmed my nerves, and I was able to. And so I was even shocked that at 20 minutes, I had finished that exam. And I was wondering, was I too fast? What happened? What did I do? I just deployed the tools that I had. Not that I didn't have the tools at the first exam, I had them, but somehow I couldn't deploy it. And so the consequences were there. But when you get to that level of anxiety, why did I share that story? There are so many tools that you do not know that you have. And I'm not talking in terms of, so many tools, in the arbitrary word of that word tool. I'm talking about, it may be as simple as, if you at that point you can use your phone. It may be as simple as sending, your friend or a family member a message. It may be as simple as calling when you're down, when you feel lonely. It may be as simple as just picking up a scripture and meditating on it. So many tools that we have around us. It may be as simple as offering that prayer in your heart, even if you may not be able to articulate the prayers in a very long string of words. It may be as simple as that. But you've got these tools in your arsenal already. It may be as simple as taking your breathing exercises, and watching the richness of your breath go up and down. That is also a tool. When you're able to deploy all these tools at the point when you're lonely, loneliness is not made for the dead. That's another thing. Loneliness is something that every human being would experience at some point in time of their life. So the fact that you're feeling lonely should still be a point of gratitude for you, that you are alive, that you are able to articulate that emotion, that loneliness feeling. You know that this is what I feel. Some people may not even be able to place a finger on it, but they know that they are feeling somehow, and they cannot explain that somehowness. And so you should also, while being grateful for that feeling, it means that there's something that you need to do to act on that feeling so that you will not be deep into it to lead to all these dangers that we can see on our screen. Minding loneliness. What are the strategies and the solutions? I've talked about a few of them, in the course of, talking about the previous slide. Join an interest group, like a book club. It could help you, maybe if that's what you have around you. I like that part where it says, take a service at your place of worship, because loneliness cannot stay long, where there is quality service. And I'm not talking about just serving anyhow. Loneliness and service, it cannot cohabit for long in a place. The point of being lonely, and when you throw yourself into good service, and when we talk about service in your place of worship, we're not talking about just being busy for the fun of being busy. And then when after being busy, you come back and then start feeling lonely again. No, we're talking about connecting deeply to your spirituality, connecting deeply to God, to your source, to know what God will have you do. That would make it more richer than just being busy. But it's okay if you did not hear God, or if it's very hard, maybe in the first instance, for you to hear that, oh, this is where I want you to go. Just start from somewhere first. Once you start to save at a spot, from that place, you will find out that, no, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing. You can move to another one. If you find out that, oh, with this particular kind of service is not what I feel that I should be doing. By the time you move around in the space of service, you will know the particular one that draws to your spirit. And that's how you will connect deeply. It will take away that, so that even when you're not even actively doing that service, it keeps you up. It keeps you up for a longer part of the day. I know that people say what it is that keeps you up at night. It does not mean that we should lose our sleep. But what it's just a question to say what it is that makes you feel the kick within you, what it is that you do, that you know that when you are, even the fact that you're planning to do it gives you that excitement and that joy. Find it. Whatever it is that works for you, find it. It could be reconnecting with your friends and relatives. It could be volunteering with a local organization for free. It may be volunteering or working on your hobby. Some people have these great hobbies. You have so much gifts in you. Your hobby may start from just simply planting planting a flower, or planting or setting up a farm. And then you develop that hobby into something rich, something that can even be more productive. Just the thought of planning the expansion, it gives you that excitement and that joy. And those are the strategies, one of them that you can use. Whether it is about planning your next move, planning what you need to do, planning and trying to connect with your spirit about what next to do. That is part of those are part of the strategies that you need to do. Some people, it may be planning your exit from a company, planning your exit from a job. The fact that you're even planning it. Some people may be planning the speech, your graduation speech in your head. It means that it has given you so much joy already. Something that you alone by yourself will be laughing. Some people, it may be just reading. Some people, it may be watching a movie at the time that you're free. Some people, it may be being solitude. Remember how we differentiated it in the beginning? It may be, it may just be in a solitary place that gives you that calmness and that peace of mind. And when you cannot start off or kickstart these strategies first without being aware of that point that you are. You have to be aware that you are lonely. Don't whisk it off. When people say, oh, I am not alone, Jesus is in me. Yes, we know that God is with us. But deep down in your heart, you know that you are feeling lonely. And some people have attached the feeling of loneliness to their not being married. Some people have attached the feeling of loneliness to their not, having maybe children or having so many things that the blessings of God, may culminate into. Yes, it's okay to attach, whatever it is, to be aware of whatever it is that makes you feel lonely. But after you're married, after you have children, after you have all those things that you have in your heart, what happens to that one deep inside you? You will still find out that it's still there. So it means that the loneliness we're talking about is not one that is attached to the shortage of what you have right now. It's not what is attached to the shortage of what you have. In Pareto's principle, the 80-20 rule, maybe what you don't have, you start feeling like, or even though you have all the 80, you still be missing the 20. No. We're not talking with respect to Pareto's principle now. We're talking about the deep-seated feeling within you that feels like you're socially disconnected. That feels like you're disconnected in one way or the other. That one that even when you now say, okay, you are not married, you're feeling lonely. Even when you now get married, the loneliness is still there. You're still feeling that there's a part of you that feels poor in spirit. You still have that poverty of self, as described by May. You still have that poverty of self. You still have that shortage, that thing, that is missing within you. It starts, the strategies that we're sharing today, they are not strategies that you don't know about. And that's why when we come out, to hang out on this, on this platform like this, we know that we should remind ourselves that first and foremost, don't deny that feeling. Don't wish it away. Don't whisk it away by prayers. Accept, and I'll be aware that I feel this lonely. I feel this and this and this. It has culminated into high blood pressure. It has culminated into anxiety and palpitations. I feel that I feel this level of loneliness. I feel that even though I have all the support in the world, I feel that I am still lonely, as if I am just alone by myself. When you are aware of that, that's the very first point of the strategies and the solutions, some of it that can help you. Be grateful and prayerful at the same time. Once you are aware that, yes, I feel this lonely, be grateful. Like I said earlier, loneliness is not for the dead. Loneliness is for people who are alive. And when you're alive and you're feeling lonely, be grateful for that life. Be grateful that you can breathe in and breathe out. Be grateful that you can live. Be grateful that even though you may not see that ray of hope right now, be grateful that in the end, it will all come out well. And then you do your self-reflection. Make sure that your gratitude is not in the place of complaining. That's why I put gratitude and prayer together. Prayers is not to be equated to complaining. Some people spend 1 hour that should be used for quality prayer, and then they spend it into complaining, strategic complaining, without even knowing that they are complaining. Everything they have said in that 1 hour of prayer is wasted because you are being anxious for nothing against the instructions that God gave. And then afterwards, another strategy that can help you to get out of this loneliness, that can help you mind that feeling of loneliness. Note that we did not say he is going to remove the feeling of loneliness. He's not going to strip it away. It's not a magic wand that you can wave like this and say, whoosh, 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 loneliness gone. No, it's something that you need to work at. It can help you, get into that place of you being whole, being solitude, and not lonely. Even when you are alone, you know that you're not lonely. There are two different words. You get into another strategy that can help is to self-reflect. Have some compassion. In local parlance, they will say, na lonely, I no keep person. Have some compassion upon yourself. Have some compassion. Look at yourself and praise yourself, just like the proverbial lizard after jumping from the wall. That red-haired lizard, they call it agama. And then when he jumps down from the wall, he nods his head like this, as though to say, yes, was it me that scaled that wall right now? He just nods his head to say, to appreciate itself. Self-reflect everything that you have done for the day. Journal it. It may be a very good thing. I'm not talking about diary, where you keep record of wrongs and plenty other people that you are going to do back, quote and unquote. I'm not talking about that kind of diary. I'm talking about journaling. If you do not have it, as you move to the new year, get your journaling act right. Oh, now, everything that has happened in the day, what did you do well? What did you think you should have done better? What do you think you should not have done at all? And so it comes down to that acronym, that we have used on this platform so many times. What you should start doing, what you should stop doing, what you should do more of, what you should do less of. So start, stop, more, and less. What you should start doing, what you should stop doing, what you should do more of. That's your self-reflection in progress. And then have some self-compassion upon yourself. Tell yourself that you have tried without stopping and feeling that, oh, I've tried, I'm just going to resign. No. Even though you have tried, it may take you, to that step of just drinking water. Like so. Drink that water. Because the truth of the matter is, when you have done all that you need to do, just relax and have some pity and compassion on yourself. Leverage on technology for positive social interactions. And when we're talking about this, there should be a balance to it. Medically, I know that we're all guilty about this. The time that some of us spend on the phone is more time that we should have used to save the world, quote and unquote. But let's all try as we move into a new year, as we move into another quarter, let's try our best to use technology for what it is meant to be used for. Positive social interactions. Once it becomes toxic, cut it off. Cut off the time. Reduce the time that you spend with technology. And this goes to parents as well. Parents these days, you find children on the stroller, find children on the, even with phones and tabs. Just because parents want children to keep quiet. They've forgotten that I tell my children every time when they say, oh, mommy, I'm bored, can we? No, I say, no, you cannot watch because boredom is a part of life. That boredom that you say you're feeling, if you cannot be by yourself and be your own company by yourself, then it means that some parents are failing. If every time they have to have gadgets, they have to have phones. And so now we have come to an age where even underage children have phones. And when they now have those phones, they are unsupervised. No restriction. No restriction whatsoever. It should not come to that. Whether you're in the Western world, whether you're in Nigeria, whether you're anywhere in any part of the world, it does more harm than good. Let your children, promote social interaction. Let them write. Let them journal. Let them draw. Let them color. Let them even do, let them prepare a novel. In those days, some people used to have like all these bubble cartoons. And that's where all these comic magazines come from. Let them share their thoughts, those thoughts that make them, giggle by themselves. Let them turn it into cartoon characters and come up with a comic book. All the words that they've heard, whether in church, whether anywhere, let them come up, creatively with bubbles. And before you know it, let them do games, healthy games. And in this age and time where even the Bible is now on screen, is not even helping for those that are men of God. Because at the end of the day, you are on screen, one form of technology or the other, morning till night, no time for the print that can help your eyesight. I'm also speaking to myself as I'm talking, but the truth of the matter is, let's use and let's leverage technology for the healthy part, for positive social interactions, and let's use it well. When we're supposed to drop it, let's drop it. When we're supposed to, we use technology for business, we use it for everything. In fact, now people even have AI tools that says, I am lonely, play me a song that will make me lively. If that's what you use it for, and then you play it and you dance. After dancing, you drink water and eat good food to boost your dopamine, to boost all those your feel-good hormones. I like the way my code puts it, boosting your dose of dose. You're boosting your dose of dopamine, you're boosting your dose of oxytocin, you're boosting your dose of serotonin and endorphin. Those are feel-good hormones. You can read, much more on those ones to help you. And then you leverage on media reduction. I've talked about that. You leverage on your self-care practices. It may be as simple as going for a pedicure. Some people, the places that your legs have walked in this world, the places that those your two legs have taken you to, you have not taken time to take care of those 2 feet. You have not taken time to have a good pedicure. When we open your feet, when we remove those feet from the shoes, the kind of odor that will come out of those shoes, it will show that, these shoes, they also need attention, or the feet. Let's even take the odor aside. If you are the very one that odors do not come from your shoes, the places that your feet have been to, that God has used your feet to carry you to, pamper those feet. And as you pamper it, it releases very good, feeling, releases very good dopamine, hormonal levels. Your dopamine, your endorphins, they would be released into you. Eat good food. Eat good food. It also helps to boost your feel-good hormone. Eat good food. Converse, positively. Say your affirmations. All these things, they help to make sure that all these strategies come into play. self-care practices. You may just need to go solitude, just go solitary. You, only you by yourself, and just put up your feet and relax. Some, it may just be to take care of your face, take care of your body, have some massage. Your tension has finished some people in their bodies, in their soul, in their spirits. Well, after you massage your spirit with the word of God, with all the strategies from God's word, and then what do you do to your body? Find time to pamper yourself, because it helps you to reduce that. It's like you connecting, having that mind-body connection, and it takes you away from the loneliness zone. Cultivate meaningful connections, focused on others at times. We know that you have not focused on yourself in a while. After you have focused on yourself in a while, I tell people, find time to focus on that thing that is greater than you. A pastor of mine used to say that your life is too small to be the purpose of your life. Your life is too small to be revolving around you. It means that find something greater than you. Find something greater than you, something around humanity, something around helping others. That will take your mind off that feeling of loneliness. It will even take your spirit away from that queue of being lonely. Giving, serving, volunteering, and adding value to humanity is something good. There's a Japanese tradition, that they call moai. That moai, it's like a lifelong group of friends. We know that even in some of our cultures, they say that 20 friends cannot play for 20 years. While that is true, you may begin to cultivate some lifelong relationships, some lifelong groups of friends that you all can say, maybe you want to go out, ask you and your friends, go out, maybe for a time being. I have someone, that shared with me recently how she and her friends used to go. That woman is like technically a grandmother right now, but they still do that yearly tradition. Nothing can stop them. The husbands will be at home, children have married up and all of that, but the ladies just go out. They travel at times, and then they have their own me time. And husbands too can do it. Men can do it. It doesn't mean that men are supposed to save the world and be just the savior and then forget themselves. You can find time to cultivate lifelong friendships. Friendships that matter to you, not friendships that at the end of the day, you are more like vampires and parasites to each other. You now come back feeling more stressed. So find things that work for you. And at the end, everything will come out to make sure that you are well-minded. You are that loneliness in you is well-minded. And you have this emotional support because it provides comfort and security. It helps you to reduce stress, and it promotes that feeling of resilience in you, where you can overcome different things that comes your way. You know without a shadow of doubt that you have that strength and the grace, because your self-esteem is boosted. By the time you try all these strategies, your mental health is improved. You're more productive. You're doing much more than you should do, because you will be going far with speed in the right direction. It helps you to strengthen your relationships when you are able to care for yourselves like that, and it boosts your physical health. And by the time you go to the doctors to do your annual checkup, you find out that your blood pressure is normal. There's nothing wrong with you. Your immune system functions perfectly well and good. And that brings us to that conclusion that says when you experience loneliness, it is a universal aspect of humanity. It provides statistics, that even you yourself would know that you are not the only one feeling this feeling of loneliness. And with all this that we have shared today, loneliness cuts across age, culture, and different parameters of life, irrespective of the reasons behind your sense of loneliness. When you actively pursue meaningful connections, it will contribute to alleviating these feelings of isolation. I've also wrote down here that loneliness, even though is a prevalent issue, for mental health, but we can also still take these proactive strategies and fostering it. I've written this very good, scripture that I like so much from the Bible. In Proverbs chapter 18, verse 24, that says that a man who has friends must show himself friendly, even though that there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. Find that friend. Find that friend. We know that that friend, can also be Jesus and can also be, but find that human friend that that will stick to you. Find it. If you do not have friends, make sure that you are more friendly so that you also can have that social interaction. Something, must be must be fueling your social interaction. And then we have these references, from these, amazing sources. And I like that part where it talks about when you are able to articulate the fact that loneliness is not solitude. We have come to the end of the slides of this presentation, but I need us to know that we still need that level of meditation. And I've written it as a bonus point that when we do our guided meditation, because we're going to close with it right now, find a comfortable spot, because we're going to be closing with that bit. Find a comfortable spot. Anytime you want to, you can do that mindfulness session, because this one is going to be short because we've just had 3 minutes. If we have any questions, can we take them quickly? Any questions? Because we've come to the end of this session. Thank you very much for joining in. Before we go into the guided meditation, thank you. Because from there, we can decide to log off and all of that. Thank you so much, for today. And thank you so much for taking time out, to listen to these reminders and on how you can mind your mind, on how you can mind loneliness. It's not just so much about what we've heard. It's so much about what we do with what we hear. And so we have come to the end of another fantastic edition of Mind the Mind series. See you next time on the Mind the Mind edition, or the 16th edition, and see you next year. Compliments of the season to you wherever you're joining from, and have a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year. So if we still have 2 more minutes. We'll quickly go through, this meditation bit, and then it will help us, exit beautifully well from this session. Let me know if you can hear the music with a thumbs up. That will just give us a guide onto how we can practice this meditation, much later. Let me know in the comment section if you can hear it. Let me know. So if you can hear it, find that spot, that thing that resonates with you. Thank you for that thumbs up. I see that you can hear the music. Find that spot. You may want to close your eyes. You may want to keep them open. But this is something that we do that you should also practice every time. Get connected with your breathing. Right now, listen to yourself breathe. Some of us are so much in a hurry that we don't even listen to our own breath. Listen to yourself breathe. Taking a deep breath and exhale through your mouth. As you think about every strategy we've talked about today, taking another deep breath and exhale. Do yourself another favor of taking in that deep breath again and exhale. Right now, you find yourself getting distracted. You're wondering what is it that they're even doing. Come back into yourself, into wherever you are, and take in that deep breath and exhale. Notice your breath. Notice it. Notice it. The rhythm. Does it shake a bit? Does it vibrate when you take in a deep breath and exhale? If you feel that palpitation, it may just be your cue to reach out. Take in that deep breath and exhale. And acknowledge all the blessings that you have received this year. The fact that you can even think about being lonely, it's a blessing that and it shows that you're alive. Don't stop breathing and exhale. Think about the difference between solitude and loneliness that we've talked about. And be grateful for your alone times and all the things that you have had to do when you're on retreat and when you're with family and friends. Continue to breathe, exhale deeply, and inhale deeply. Give yourself the permission to relax. Every time you think about so many things coming at you, give yourself that permission to relax. And then you slowly get into that gratitude mood and take yourself out of it. Slowly get yourself back into the slides that we are here, into this session, and land gracefully. That's just a tip of how we can meditate. It's just a tip, a very short tip, of how we can meditate. Find yourself some cool music. It may not be any of this, music. It may be something that you resonate with deeply, but find it and do it. It's not enough to find it. It's the doing that matters. Thank you everyone again for joining. Have a wonderful day. You can reach me on Instagram at Olurunke Oluwalere or at Emotional Wellness Tribe. Send us an email at emotionalwellnesstribe@gmail.com. Connect with us, connect with me. And if you have any questions about any of the Mind the Mind sessions that we've had before now, you can check out my YouTube page at Olurunke Oluwalere. You'll be able to find even the replay of this session. You'll find all the replays of all the Mind sessions we've had in time past. And I'm sure that you will be blessed when you do so. Thank you again, everyone. Do have a wonderful time. Bye. I can see you all in the chat session. I acknowledge all the thumbs up, all the messages. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. God bless you. Have a wonderful Yuletide season. Bye.